Assalamu alaikum dear students. This is Taira Liaquat, lecturer, University of Education, Vihari campus. In continuation to the previous lectures, we discussed about project proposal. Later on, we discussed about the SRS document. Now moving forward, now we are going towards the methodology we can adopt for our capstone project. There are several methodologies or several models which we can use for our project development. They all come under a single system or technique which is called SDLC, or which is known as Software Development Lifecycle. So today we are going to discuss about the software development lifecycle, and we will be discussing one model, that is Waterfall model, which comes under the SDLC models. Software development lifecycle is a process used by the software industry to design, develop and test high quality softwares. The SDLC aims to produce a high quality software that meets or exceeds customer expectations, reaches completion within time and cost estimates. So our aim is to complete our project within the given timeline and within the estimated budget. SDLC is a process followed for a software project within a software organization. It consists of a detailed plan describing how to develop, maintain, replace, and alter or enhance specific software. The life cycle defines methodology for improving the quality of software and overall development of the process. So there are certain common things which we know that SDLC is an acronym of Software Development Lifecycle. It is also called Software Development Process. SDLC is a framework defining tasks performed at each step in the software development process. So first of all, we will be defining what is SDLC. SDLC is a process followed for a software project within a software organization. It consists of a detailed plan describing how to develop, maintain, replace, and alter or enhance specific software. The life cycle defines a methodology for improving the quality of the software and the overall development process. So basically there are 4 fundamental phases, and some of these phases are further categorized into stages. The 4 main phases are planning, analysis, design, and implementation. So this is a figure that is a graphical representation of the various stages of a typical SDLC. It starts from planning and came towards defining, then designing, building, testing, and development. So the stage 1 is planning and requirement analysis. Requirement analysis is the most important and fundamental stage in SDLC. It is performed by the senior member of the team with inputs from the customer, the sales department, market surveys, and domain experts in the industry. This information is then used to plan the basic project approach and to conduct product feasibility study in economical, operational, and technical areas. Planning for the quality assurance requirements and identification of the risk associated with the project is also done in the planning stage. The outcome of the technical feasibility study is to define the various technical approaches that can be followed to implement the project successfully within minimum risk. So basically, the first step of SDLC is planning. Planning is very much important, as this is the first step, and if you go wrong on the first stage, then the whole project will be a disaster. We have to plan about each and everything, from time management to cost and the risk associated with the project. We should also have a plan about the risk management and disaster management, and we also should have a change management plan. If a certain change occurs in our software, we should have a plan how to deal with that. The stage 2 of SDLC is defining requirements. Once we have done the requirement analysis, the next step is to clearly define and document the product requirements and get them approved from the customer or market analyst. So basically, at this stage, we prepare the SRS document which we have discussed earlier. This all process is done through an SRS document, software requirement specification document, which we discussed in our previous lecture. And that consists of all the product requirements to be designed and developed during the project life cycle. So after defining the requirements and documenting them, the third step is the designing the product architecture. SRS is basically the reference for product architects to come out with the best architecture for the product to be developed. Based on the requirements specified in SRS, usually more than one design approach for product architecture is proposed and documented in a DDS, which is Design Document Specification. This design document specification is reviewed by all the important stakeholders and based on various parameters as risk assessment, product robustness, design modularity, budget and time constraints, and the best design approach is selected for the project. A design approach clearly defines all the architectural modules of the product along with its communication and data flow representation with the external and third party modules if there are some. The internal design of all the modules of the proposed architecture should be clearly defined with the minutes of the details in DDS. So after designing the product architecture, there are 5 design steps. First of all is design strategy, then architecture design, then database and file specification, and program design. The design strategy clarifies whether the system will be developed by the company or outside of the company. The architecture design will describe the hardware, software, and the network infrastructure that will be used. The database and file specification will be defining what and where the data will be stored and the program design defines what programs need to be written and what they will do. The fourth stage is building or developing the product. At this stage of SDLC, the actual development starts and the product is built. The programming code is generated as per DDS during this stage, and if design is performed in a detailed and organized manner, code generation can be accomplished without much hassle. Developers must follow the coding guidelines defined by the organization and programming tools like compilers, interpreters, debuggers, and etc. These are used to generate the code. Different high-level programming languages can be used, such as C++, Pascal, Java, PHP, and these can be used for coding. The programming language is chosen with respect to the type of software being developed. We can use ASP.NET or PHP if we are working on a web-based system. We can use Java or VB.NET if we are working on the desktop application. And if we are working on mobile application or Android application, we can use Unity or other language like that. The stage 5 is testing of the product. This stage is usually a subset of all the stages in the modern SDLC models. The testing activities are mostly involved in all the stages of SDLC. However, this stage refers to testing only stage of the product where product defects are reported. They are tracked, fixed, and retested until the product reaches the quality standards defined in SRS. This is a self-repeating process, and we make test and we try again and again until there are some errors or the product reaches to the quality or requirements, or it is according to the requirements defined in the SRS document. The sixth stage is development in market and maintenance. Once the product is tested and ready to be deployed, it is released formally in the appropriate market. Sometimes product deployment happens in this stage as per the business strategy of that organization, and the product may first be released in a limited segment and tested in the real business environment. Then, based on the feedback, the product may be released and it is or with suggested enhancements in the targeting market segment. After the product is released in the market, its maintenance is done for existing customer base. So, at this stage, first of all, we deploy our product within some users, and depending upon their feedback, we can change or alter our product, and when the product is finalized by those customers, the product can be published in the market.